Ah, yeah, the wonderful voice of Christy Moore and Bees Wings and Rest Easy, Enya Maria Celia McMorrow. A very good evening. It's Jimmy with you at 11 minutes past 8. My special guest, co-presenter, is sitting in front of me with his lovely, that looks like a McGee's tweed jacket, does it?
That's a McGee's tweed jacket.
Is it?
That's
Absolutely.
I thought, especially for the radio.
Oh my! I see how I recognise that, huh? No, and I'm delighted. Michael Christie from you're from all over the place, really, but Ballyshannon now. But of Kings of Cool and the band True Tones and many other guys. You're very welcome here tonight, Michael.
Good man, Jimmy. It's a thrill to be here. As Keith Richards would say, delighted to be anywhere at my age.
Ah, brilliant. And listen, we do this kind of once a month. I do this. I bring up a special guest co-presenter, and I asked him to pick 7 or 8 pieces of Irish music from any genre, any decade. And I remember meeting you a few weeks ago in McGinley's. You were playing. I said, "Are you interested?" And you jumped at it straight away.
Yeah, but I found it actually a hell of a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. You know what I mean? Because people like Van Morrison, Rory Gallagher, U2, Hot House Flowers, Sinead O'Connor, the Boomtown Rats. You know, I could have made a case for Something Happens. All these, loads of bands.
Yeah.
There's none of them in it.
Yeah. Before we get into the music bit, right? But give us a kind of an elevator pitch of who Michael Christie is, other than being a singer, songwriter, poet, and all that sort of stuff. Who is born and ended up in Ballyshannon?
Born in London. My mum was from North Sligo, or is from North Sligo. She's still there. My dad has passed away. He was from Kildare. I think I'm pretty sure they met in the Galtymore. Like the song goes, literally the cliche. Yeah. I was 3 when I came back to North Sligo, and I was reared near Cliffney, Mullaghmore. But I've been in Ballyshannon now for a donkey's years. But I would still consider myself Sligo rather than Donegal. If pinch came to shove, you know.
Sligo playing Donegal or Sligo playing Finn Harps. It's the Sligo flag is out.
Donegal in all scenarios unless they're playing Sligo.
Right, okay, your heart is still
so, I would have started playing music very, very young.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember being at a little concert in a village hall in Cliffney, and I think it was about 7. And there was a Cayley band came on, and they brought on a kit of drums, and I'd never seen a kit of drums. And I remember they sat down, and the drummer just went thump thump on the bass drum.
Right.
I remember the hair stood in the back of my neck.
Wow.
And I was lost. That was me finished.
Wow, to this day. And
to this day.
You know, we've loads to talk about. We've drums and we've all the bands and we've Ballyshannon and we've Rory Gallagher and we've all that sort of stuff. So we've loads of time, Michael, as no, and we paid you for the 2 hours, even though it might only last an hour. But let's go to your first choice of music.
First choice of music, I thought it'd start somewhere very obvious. So, obviously somebody who was growing up in the 70s, Thin Lizzy were a huge musical influence, but they were a huge influence on the whole of Ireland because, they were on top of the pops every week and they were rocking it out. And as much as I love Lizzy, and Jailbreak would be one of my favourite albums, what I really loved about Phil Lynott is his vulnerability.
Right.
And his melody. And he was softer than all the other rockers. He could, Sarah, whatever. Yeah. He could turn his hand to something that I found very interesting even at that age. So the first song is really showing his vulnerability. I would call it a cry for help, Old Town.
Old Town. Brilliant. Well, let's listen to it. This is the first track of many from Michael Christie, and this is Phil Lynott with Old Town.
The girl's a fool, she broke the rules, she heard him high. This time he will break down. She's lost this trust and so she bust all his laws. The system has broke down. Romance has broke down. This boy is cracking up. my money in the old town. It's not the same, honey, when you're not around. I've been spending my time in the old town. I sure miss you, honey, now you're not around. Now you're not around this old town.
Sranga Bill letrachas hartar de gúnaí agus déitach se bheith contortach dal gardómh. Mar sin, chur ceistart féin. Bhfuil me clínte go bhfuil se sábhailte? Bí a fear amach do ranga letrachas le stúas agus le stíos. Má bhíon áhrasart, chur glíoran chian 8 náid 3 7 9 9. Seans go sábhaile se do bheithe. ESB Networks, bí sábhailte, fan gláán a ranga letrachas.
Shop Homeland's February mega deals now at your local Homeland or online at homeland.ie. Barry's or Lions 600 tea bags now €19.99, save €4. Growzone Max Greenhouse now only €99, save €50. JFC calf slats 900 by 1200mm now €105, save €21. All this and more until the 23rd of February only. Visit homeland.ie. Nationwide delivery available.
Being a Garda will change your life. A few years ago, I attended a sudden death incident and had to work with the victim's wife and child. It was traumatic for the family, but you just absorb the trauma yourself. You stay strong so they don't have to. They had no family in Ireland, so when the boy's birthday came around, I organised for Gardaí, Coast Guard and the fire service to drive along the coast where he lived to show that we were all thinking of him in what was a really difficult time. I work in a close-knit community and we look after each other, uniform or not. His birthday matters to me as much as my own. Being a Garda is a really tough job, but it is definitely a job worth doing. You can apply now at publicjobs.ie.
Valentine's Day is almost here. Still looking for the perfect treat for your special someone? Make this day unforgettable with a gift from Pandora. Don't wait until the last minute. Visit us now in-store and online at pandora.net to find the perfect symbol of love.
So he was like messaging me all night and then he just ghosted me.
No way.
Yeah, he was like, "You're so hot, I want to come over."
Okay.
And I was like, "Cool." And he was like, "I'm on my way, driving over right now."
And then?
Nothing.
Phone use while driving can be deadly. Your phone, it won't kill you to put it away. From the Road Safety Authority, visit rsa.ie.
It's colourless, it's odorless, it's hard to detect. So carbon monoxide deserves your respect. It can kill you stone dead in just 3 minutes flat. And if you don't believe me, ask me dear Uncle Pat. Thanking you. Coal, turf, oil, gas, even wood, any fuel can harm. So get yourself a carbon monoxide alarm, or you might just wake up dead.
You're listening to Jimmy Stafford.
And you're also listening to Michael Christie from the True Tones and the King. Which do you like to prefer? Is it the True Tones or the Kings of Cool? What's your kind of
Well, the True Tones is a cover band,
Yeah.
and it would be the bread and butter,
Yeah.
you know. And it's very enjoyable in its own way, but my heart would be in the writing the songs.
The Kings of Cool.
And I'm actually lucky enough that I record them as well. I produce them and record them in my own studio.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do the whole lot. And Jason writes some of them, I write some of them, and that would have all started during the pandemic. There was nothing else to do, and we just started writing. I would have played with Jason years ago, and Stephen, in Georgia.
Yeah.
And Georgia would have had a little burst of success in the middle 90s. And that would lead me on, I suppose, to the next song. We would have went on this tour around all the colleges in Ireland.
Next song you're going to play now.
The next song we're going to play.
Before you do that, Michael,
Yeah.
I want to just get into the drums and go back to that 7-year-old and the hair standing in
Yeah.
the back of your head.
Yeah.
And was it from then you took the drums on?
Oh, yeah, I started in the little school marching band.
Yeah.
You know, on the kettle drum.
Right.
All that kind of crack,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And it took me a while then to get onto a drum kit. But I was, at the age of 16, I was heading away to England with Johnny Gallagher's dad, Sean Gallagher, in Bundoran.
Right.
And had to get special permission from the school to head off on this trip, touring all over England.
Wow.
Coventry Irish Centre, the Galtymore, all these places.
And this was
And
just Sean Gallagher's
Sean
band.
Gallagher's band at the time. That would have been Johnny's dad.
Yes.
He would have had a country band at the time.
Right.
And his drummer had left, and I don't know why he came across me, but he saw me playing with a little schoolboy band, and I was terrible. But he must have seen there's potential there, I can do something with them.
Yeah.
So I went in and played with him, and within 3 months I had to get permission from the school to head away to England. Actually, this was a sensation at the time, you know, and there was no airplanes at that time. You went on the boat, you know. And Sean would have maybe a dozen bottles of poaching in the boot of the car. And that would pay for your accommodation with various expats around England.
Wow.
You'd be staying with all these different people around England. But very often we would be playing for Irish priests because they were lethal at having to raise funds for the parish. And they would run dances and bring over Irish bands. So very often we would be staying in the priest's house. And a good session would be had to be drinking all night and chatting, and me sitting there wide-eyed, never out of Cliffany in my life.
Wow, as a 16-year-old.
At 16 years old,
And I suppose I've come across you over the years through True Tones, really, because I've seen you perform in
playing for Stephen Elliott, below in McGinley's, and Huey before that, Huey McGinley. Great music pub.
Oh yeah,
great music pub. And Letterkenny's lucky to have it. You know?
But you know what I love about you and the two lads,
Mark and Paul Travers,
the two brothers. Just you have a fantastic combination, the three of you. And what I love as a drummer, you don't see too many drummers who are also the lead singer, which is what you are.
Well, sometimes,
the lads sing as well, but
yeah.
you're there and you're calling the shots from sitting with the fire behind you.
But strangely, Jimmy, from a very young age, I wasn't content to just play drums.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people would say, and you can see that.
Yeah.
You could have been much better on the drums if you concentrated on them. But no, I was always interested in trying to sing and trying to sing harmonies initially and, you know, just do other little bits and pieces.
Brilliant,
and then I went on to writing songs and whatever, you know.
Great, we'll come back to all that. Listen, this song...
this song is from The Frames. And we went on tour with The Frames as Georgia around all the colleges in Ireland. And in fact, we played for Letterkenny College. It was in the Clanree. This is 1995 now.
Right.
This is a long time ago.
Who was in the band, Georgia?
Georgia was Jason and Stephen out of the Kings of Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Plus a guy called John Keane, who would be a legend around Ballyshannon.
Right.
Still is.
Yeah.
But we had to tour with The Frames, and they had the album out at the time, and their big single was Revelate. And we used to play our little pop songs, and then they used to go on and just wipe the floor with us every night.
Yeah.
But rather than being annoyed about this, I used to stand at the stage every night in awe. And they would play this song that's coming up called Fitzcarraldo. It was the title song from their album. And they were masters of dynamics, from a scream to a whisper.
Yeah.
And you'll hear it all in this song. And they were twice as powerful live. So we'll just let this song go and let it wash over you. Fitzcarraldo.
Hi, Jimmy. Say hello to Michael, sounding good on radio, from Eddie Gallagher, a fellow singer.
Good man, Eddie.
As well.
How are you?
Thanks, Eddie. And this is track number 2. This is The Frames, Glenn Hansard, and this is Fitzcarraldo.
track. I chose the long road that leads me out to God knows. So I can't stop right now. Even the good stars can fall from grace and falter, lose their faith and slide. But I can't get an ocean that's deep enough for my day. It's the first of the ascension. It's a sad way. We've flown after the storm, and her last words were always only thinking of you. In my golden days, I was your slave. Well, now it's time to sound your voice and capture what you're after. My ship was sold right up the river, but I'm not going down here. This journey isn't over. It's a long way to the house of Fitzcarraldo, and her last words were always thinking of you. In my golden days, I'll be your saint. Something happened to you. Even the good stars can fall from grace and falter like lapdogs that haven't missed the rain. And her last words were all singing down in head straight. It's the only way that we can go. I shall eclipse you.
Hey, Michael, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's the Celtic rock there in there, isn't it? With the
Yeah, they were, as I say, they can just do that whole whisper to a scream thing.
Yeah.
You know, just absolute power, you know. Glenn Hansard is an amazing songwriter.
when they were doing that in 1985, had he got the whole Celtic rock thing on stage as well?
Oh, the fiddle player, Colin McInerney.
yeah.
He's been in Keela as well, that guy.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's still in the band actually, but Glenn Hansard only resurrects the frames every now and again now,
Yeah.
and does special things, and then it's Glenn Hansard himself.
I think he's his money well made, huh?
He has, but he's a very, very. I remember he used to make a point every night of chatting to us, and you know, he was just a very nice person,
Yeah.
and lost in music.
Brilliant.
That was his just music. That was enough for him, you know. Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. You know what I love about this when people come up and do this? It's the wide range of songs that people pick. Because you're expecting somebody, they're going to pick like all kind of Christy Moore stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they,
yeah.
they go off into a tangent, and in the previous shows I've done, and we'll talk about the next one in a minute. But come back to Ballyshannon for me as well, because I suppose Ballyshannon is renowned for many things, but particularly this year is the 60th anniversary, isn't it, of the Rory Gallagher International Festival. Your involvement in that, Michael, from...
I've been lucky enough to play them all.
Yeah.
Usually with Johnny Gallagher and Boxty.
Yeah.
But after I left Johnny, I kind of was very keen to continue playing at it. So I put together a classic rock band called In Your Town, which is the name of a Rory song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we tend to play The Who, Led Zeppelin, classic rock. And we will always do a Rory medley in the middle to toss, to tip the hat to the memory of him.
Wow.
And people seem to like it because all weekend they're hearing loads of Rory stuff. So it's almost like they get a chance to cleanse the palate. Yeah. For a half an hour. We're not doing that,
But isn't it amazing, like, and myself and Paul have talked to it, because it's only in the last year or two, probably 2 years, we've started seeing more acts come up from South Donegal to Monday night sessions.
Yes.
And all of a sudden we've put our foot into Ballyshannon, and it's just like we've opened a Pandora's box of tricks of music.
I have to say, I was playing last week as the drummer in the orchestra for the Colostra Colonkill, the secondary school, their musical, All Shook Up, an Elvis musical.
Yeah.
Mother of God, the talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now, these people are in TY, so that's 15 or 16. There was at least 9 of them could join a band tomorrow and sing.
Well, me and Paul, we had a Ballyshannon night here one night, specifically, right? We had the Schlacks up.
Yeah,
and the band.
Great young people, aren't they?
My God, the Ballyshannon
I know them all.
Festival.
I know them all, and also very nice young guys.
But the Rory Gallagher, my brother-in-law, Father Paddy Dunn, who's down in Ballyshannon, said to me he heard them at a theatre last year. They were doing an act or a competition.
Yes.
And he said, you got to listen to these boys, and we got a track from them, and wow! And then they played Rory Gallagher Square.
That's right, yeah.
And the whole place was just heaving.
No. And in fairness, an awful lot of people now think Rory Gallagher Ballyshannon.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s, I remember, and I don't mean to, I was actually playing with this band, but there was a band called the Wild Herrings. This was a punk meets Talking Heads meets. And we used to play the Downtown in Letterkenny, which is now Voodoo.
Yes.
And, I would argue that was possibly the most original thing ever came out of Ballyshannon. It was crazy. There was 2 front girl singers, and they were fearless, as in absolutely fearless. One of them shaved her head bald, Fiona Pender.
Wow.
Back in the 80s,
Yeah.
And I was totally confrontational. And to go the opposite tack, they were all punks. So I decided, the most punkish thing I could do is I used to wear a suit and tie. To be completely different from the crowd and the rest of the band.
And the suit on when you were doing the drums?
Oh, yeah, the whole thing, suit and tie. And we were on TV a few times and stuff, and it looked ridiculous. I mean, they had safety pins and the whole lot, and I was in a suit and tie. Wow. But that was my rebellion, because the orthodoxy of the other thing was every bit as bad as the suit and tie,
Brilliant. Anyway, track, Paul McDevitt says, Jimmy, say hello to Michael for me. I'm loving his selection, pure class.
Good man, Paul. Of course, a huge thank you to you and Jimmy for all you do for musicians from Donegal and much further afield. You mightn't know it, but I talk to lots of other bands in other counties and sometimes other DJs.
Yeah.
And you always, your Monday night show always comes up in the conversation.
That's good to hear,
so you're very well respected, and everybody's very grateful. Anyway, the next song is from a guy who I would rate as possibly one of the greatest Irish songwriters. Every time there's a programme on TV, Jimmy, about the history of Irish music and rock and pop, this man is just airbrushed out. He's never mentioned. It's
incredible, isn't it?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And to me, he's Elton John mixed up with Paul McCartney, mixed up with, that's the level we're talking about.
Yeah.
So this is Gilbert O'Sullivan, Nothing Rhymed.
Yeah, it's incredible. You're right, because I've been playing him the last few months, and I just think he's Irish, and you think he's
totally airbrushed out of all the, these RTE programmes about the history of Irish music. He's never mentioned. But anyway, a genius.
A genius. This is Gilbert O'Sullivan, Nothing Rhymed. And the third selection from the legend, we'll call you, Michael Christie.
That's a bit strong.
If I give up the seat I've been saving to some elderly lady, oh man, am I being a good boy? Am I your pride and joy? Mother, please, if you please, say I am. And if while in the course of my duty I perform an unfortunate tape, would you punish me so unbelievably so? Never again will I make that mistake. This feeling inside me could never deny me the right to belong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. When I'm drinking my Bonaparte shandy, eating more than enough apple pies, will I glance at my screen and see real human beings starved to death right in front of my eyes? Nothing old, nothing new, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why cost today, nothing rhyme. This feeling inside me could never deny me the right to belong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why cost today, nothing rhyme.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful from Gilbert O'Sullivan, Nothing Rhymed. And you know what, you're absolutely right. Me and Michael were kind of half talking during the song, but listening as well in our headphones. But you know, just underrated, and yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that I'm delighted to see he's still touring. He tours now, he just plays piano and he's a guitar player beside him. And as I was saying, he still has a head on him like a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
But and for our listeners, we were chatting to Jimmy Stafford about how he ended up in Letterkenny,
That's right, yeah.
the whole way from Cove
Yeah,
in
yeah,
County
yeah.
Cork, the far end of the country.
And that's another story when I'm on
It's
the other
always
side
a
of the mic.
woman. It's always a woman.
To blame. Michael, and hello to, who have we got list? Terry McGinty is saying brilliant stuff. Michael Christie.
Good man, Terry.
And
I'll be in touch with you soon. He's going to do some mixing for me over the next few songs.
Oh, brilliant. And the studio is flying
studio,
as well, the
yeah,
Valley
yeah.
studio. And I love this. Martin McFadden is watching. Big Mac is watching the football. Liverpool 1-up. I just see a brilliant 1-1. And listening to Jimmy and Michael. Life is good. Fair play, lads. Big
Good
Mac
man,
down
Martin.
there. Yeah,
Martin was in.
Martin was up here doing the
He was.
co-presenting.
He sent me a link to it, and I enjoyed watching it last night. And he also was in Ballyshannon in the Abbey Centre for the Kings of Cool concert a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. And he's great at doing that and posting stuff. And
he's a great man to
supporting.
support, isn't he?
And when
Great
Anora
man.
came up to us back in February 2023, Martin knew the lads really well, and he was sharing a lot of. And me and him were backstage with
Yes,
Paul on their
yeah.
first gig in the Banner, and it was some great.
And
memories.
they're a huge success story, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
You know, we were just talking about Donegal there, and sometimes you think it's the forgotten county. I quite like it that way.
Yeah.
But there's a hell of a lot going on, and there's so much talent, you know.
Like I come in here some bank holiday Mondays and nice weather, and I ask people for recommendations for walks around Donegal, and because you've visitors listening and the text machine lights up with places to go right across the county. I'm talking from South Donegal, Ballyshannon, right up to Falcara and over to the west and up to the Inishowen Peninsula. It's just,
but it's an amazing county as well for the arts.
It is.
I mean, the green on there, some of the stuff that is happening there is world class, you know.
It is, yeah.
And then the Ballar's a lovely theatre, and there's a lovely theatre in Ballyshannon, the Abbey.
It is,
I mean,
and I've been there a couple of times now.
Yeah, and it's actually, you know, for a small town, what a facility.
And then you go, Michael, you go up towards Lifford, you have the Lifford Old Courthouse.
That's
and then
right,
you go
and it's a gorgeous venue,
and you
isn't
go
it?
to Strabane, you've beautiful theatre in Strabane as well, which are all really pumping away and doing really good stuff and giving artists the opportunity as well. Like they're not.
I think so, yeah.
You know,
and also, you know, you can kind of get on with doing stuff. Like I write songs and we put them out, and we're lucky enough for the likes of yourselves play them, and some other stations around the country or whatever. But it's almost like you're not. You can get on with it yourself, and you're way out of the mainstream, and you can basically do what you want. You know.
Come here, you know what we're going to do here? We're going to take two together, if you don't mind. I know you. If you
two together.
Two together, and introduce the
no
two.
No pressure, then.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're going to go first with a band from Cork, because I thought I'm going to have to put in a band from Cork.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is Micro Disney. Cathal Coughlin was the man there. He went on to form Fatima Mansions. And then there was another guy there with them. I wrote down his name, Sean O'Hagan, and he formed the High Llamas. What I loved about the Cork bands, Jimmy, was, you know, we're going to play Micro Disney, but the Frank and Walters, the Sultans of Ping, they sounded nothing like the Dublin bands.
That's right, yeah. It's Cork.
That's what I loved about it. No, they were irreverent and they were more jangly.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
The other one we go for is Lick the Tins.
Brilliant.
Lick the Tins was a band. I don't think they ever had even another record, let alone another hit. And they brought out a cover version of Elvis, Can't Help Falling in Love with You, back in the 80s. They were lucky enough, it got into the soundtrack on The Snapper, you know, the film The Snapper, Colin Meaney.
Yeah.
And also on one of the John Hughes movies, Some Kind of Wonderful. They finished off that. It's the end music.
Yeah.
It's an amazing version of an Elvis song. You've never heard anything like it before or since.
But how did you put that in your list? Like,
because I remember it's jumping out at me off the radio in the 80s. And they were actually from Northern Ireland. They were based in London. The girl's name that's singing is Alison Marr, M-A-R-R, as in Johnny Marr.
Yeah.
And they were from, I don't know anything about them except they were all from Northern Ireland.
Wow.
But they were based in London. And she quit writing for the Newton Ards Chronicle as a local journalist and went over to London and started this band, Lick the Tins. And you will hear the whole Irish influence on it.
What a team. We'll take the two in a row from Michael Christie from Sligo, Ballyshannon, Kildare, whatever, London. Your dad was from, would you say?
My dad was from Monastrevin in Kildare.
Monastrevin.
Yeah.
But you have a London, what was the London?
I was born in London.
Born in London,
yeah,
that was it.
Yeah. Sure, I'm like Charlie Haughey. You know the way he had a foot in every county. So Micro Disney, Town to Town, and Lick the Tins. Can't help falling in love with you. I'm up there, baby.
Tuned in here and really enjoy. Tuned in here and really enjoying Michael's selection, especially Gilbert's son. Hi, Michael. It's Marianne in Inishowen. Keep rocking.
Good girl, Marianne. We'll be chatting about you in a few minutes.
Brilliant. Here we go.
Accept each other and help read
Round the table and mind the dresser.
Me and Michael dancing around the studio here. I tell you,
I'm afraid I'm not a dancer.
Hey, that's brilliant. I remember that song, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, you see, I don't know why it stuck with me. When you said to me, come up with a list of names of songs. I don't know why. That one jumped straight into my mind.
Yeah. But
it's not the most obvious one, but yeah.
I mean, Paul is texting here. I haven't heard that version of your brilliant choice, but that's the song he could play in his Saturday show that he does because it's an upbeat 60s, 70s.
Yeah, and
but that's
her voice is so strange. It could be. You think it's a fella.
Yeah, that's a song you could play in a night out in one of these pubs. When they play, the DJs are playing. That's gone into my playlist here on the
wonderful.
Center stage as well. Thanks, Michael.
Lick the Tins.
And somebody says, Noel says, Lick the Tins. What a song. Brilliant, Jimmy. Whatever happened to them, does anyone know?
Yeah, I was reading up on them because I knew I was coming in here, and there's very little about them on Wikipedia or anywhere. Basically, that song, and that's it.
That's Lick the Tins. What a name for a band. If anybody knows whatever happened, Lick the Tins, 086 60 25,000. Can we track them down or find out where they were?
All I know is Alison Marr, Ronan Heenan, and Aidan McCrory. Sure, you'd know they were Irish, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they were, yeah. Michael, go back to yourself because you teach drums now a lot, don't you?
I teach a lot of kids and some adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, some adults take a notion and think, God, I wouldn't mind trying that.
Right.
And I think that's great, isn't it?
And do you get great satisfaction out of that?
You do. Now sometimes you'd have a young kid there and they're just staring at the ground and you're kind of going, well, how'd you get on at school today? And they go,
Yeah.
You're thinking, Christ, it's going to be a long half hour. But in general, they're great,
And these guys and girls who come, do many women take up the drums?
Yes, I've taught a number of girls, and they're usually very, very good.
Yeah.
But a few people have gone on, like the drummer in the Slags. He came to me. Yeah, Morgan.
Morgan McNamee.
Yeah, he came to me.
James' son.
Yeah.
From James' Xbox.
And his younger sister is coming to me now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant drummer.
He's a brilliant drummer, and I knew from the first day I started teaching him that, there was going to be no trouble to him at all, And to be honest with you, Jimmy, it's not even about being brilliant. Some people come to me and they wouldn't be that good at all, but they really enjoy it.
That's what I mean.
And it's good for them,
And I had said this to you earlier on, over the years, Paul and myself have talked about this, you have people who come up here on Monday night, they may not be brilliant, but they come into the studio and they do 20 minutes, and the confidence it gives them.
Of course, Jim.
To go out there and maybe say, I mightn't be brilliant, but you know what, I did that, and maybe I can go and...
Exactly.
I might be a great singer, but maybe I'm a good guitar player, and they might go and try something else.
Well, basically, they're putting themselves in a position or somewhere where they're out of their comfort zone.
Exactly. Michael, I'm going to deviate here from. I'm going to play one of your songs, "The Kings of Cool," to bring us to the news at 9. I'm going to play.
Well, just to mention, we'll have a new single to annoy you and Jimmy with. We'll be sending it on to you next week.
Well, this is Elvis, Me, and
That's
Jerry
the last
Lee.
one, yeah.
We'll play this up to the news at 9. And we'll
Good
talk
man,
at 9 if you don't mind hanging around. Kings of Cool on Thursday night. This is the Kings of Cool. This is Michael Christie, special guest co-presenter. Elvis, Me, and Jerry Lee up to the 9 o'clock news.
I wish I could stay in my bed today. The pain inside my head now, it just won't go away. And everything just feels so bad. Monday always drives me mad. The traffic never moves. The kids are back at school. We all try to make it, do what we must do. And every day we run the race,
Hey, Michael, that's brilliant.
Well, brilliant. Another strong word, but thank you, Jimmy.
Love it, Kings. Elvis, me and Jerry Lee. Well, you want to see Michael in studio. He was miming it, right? And we have a video I'm going to put up on Instagram, Highland Radio now. And he does one of those Elvis moves as well.
Oh dear. A geriatric Elvis.
Say hello to Michael from Ann and Des Buckley from Monastrevin, County Kildare.
So lovely to hear from Ann and Des. My father's place, Monastrevin.
Brilliant, lovely to hear. And stay tuned, Ann and Des, because he has more coming up after the news at 9. I was going to ask him to read the news at 9, but we'll give you a break on that, Michael. But Michael Christie from the Kings of Cool, special guest co-presenter. He's going to get a cup of tea and we'll talk to you after 9.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
It's 9 o'clock. A very good evening from the newsroom. Israel's military have been ordered to prepare a plan for a large number of Palestinians leaving Gaza. The directive comes just over a day after Donald Trump suggested the US could take over the territory, turning it into a Riviera. Former Middle East advisor Aaron David Miller describes what impact all of this could have on the ceasefire deal.
That, of course, the Palestinians probably translates into forced departure. So it's already had a bad psychological effect. We'll see if the exchange on Saturday goes well, but phase 2 is coming up, which requires real heavy lifts.
Meanwhile, Israel's foreign minister suggested Donald Trump's plans for Gaza are moral. Gideon Saar said if certain issues are addressed, it would be humane.
See details, which countries are involved, other issues, but from the principal point of view, no one can deny that if these two principles exist, it is immoral to do such a plan. It is, on the contrary, it is very moral.
Drivers in rural areas are being urged to be patient with changes to speed limits. The default limit is reducing from 80 kilometres an hour to 60 in the morning. Slower speeds are also due to be brought in for built-up areas as well on national roads later this year. Transport consultant Conor Faulkner said local authorities will be able to decide if a lower speed limit is needed on certain roads.
I think there are still a lot of anomalies on the network though, and a change in speed limits will highlight them. There are plenty of locations where the local authority just needs to reassess a road. In some cases, by road designation, the speed limit is too high, and local residents might be pointing that out. There might be other reasons.
There are fears introducing foreign languages at primary level will place additional pressure on teachers. Spanish, French and German are set to be taught from 3rd to 6th class in the coming years, with schools choosing the languages they teach based on resources and demographic. Teachers will begin receiving support for the curriculum changes from next year. Principal Rachel Harper said while it will benefit children, teachers need to be properly supported.
I mean, teachers are doing an amazing job at the moment, but it seems their responsibilities keep going further and further. So my fear would be that it would overburden them or overload them, So really, I think the careful planning is really important. I really feel that it's going to benefit the children, as I said.
The majority of teachers in the north are set to start industrial action short of strike after they rejected a pay offer. A 5.5% offer for 2024-2025 was offered by employers last week. However, the National Northern Ireland Teacher Council, made up of the 5 main teaching unions, say after consultation with members, they're not in a position to ratify the agreement. SIP2 workers are effectively on standby for industrial action if Bordnamona Recycling is privatised. It wants assurances from the state that it will stay publicly owned. Adrian Kane from the union said they're trying to send a message to the company and to the government.
We are putting Bordamona on guard and also marking the book of the incoming government that we're not going to accept this. This is a really bad decision for this country if it were allowed to proceed. It's a really bad decision for the people that we represent.
Gardaí and Kilkenny are reappealing for information on the whereabouts of a 23-year-old man who was last seen on New Year's Eve. Jamie Collins was last seen on Tuesday, the 31st of December at about 7 o'clock in Kilkenny. He's described as being 5 foot 8 inches tall, medium build with black hair and blue eyes. Gardaí and Jamie's family are concerned for his well-being and believe he may be in the Tipperary or Limerick area. And Ben Affleck is taking over from Matt Damon in the thriller Animals. The Oppenheimer actor was supposed to lead the film, but scheduling conflicts with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey meant he had to depart from the Netflix project. That's your news at 4 minutes past 9.
And in
Your voice, your station on Highland Radio.
It is indeed. No, that shouldn't have come in there. I don't know who snuck that in. Somebody, gremlins. Tonight is dry and clear and cold with light easterly breezes. Lowest temperatures of -2 to +1 degrees with widespread frost and a few icy patches. And tomorrow, Friday, it'll be a cold and frosty start to the morning. Another dry day with long spells of sunshine. Cloud will increase across eastern areas during the afternoon. Highest temperatures of 4 to 6 degrees and light to moderate easterly winds. You're very welcome. It's Jimmy Stafford with you till 10 p.m. this evening on Centre Stage with my special guest co-presenter, Mr. Michael Christie, all the way from Ballyshannon, aka Sligo, Kildare, and born in London, and Kings of Cool, True Tones amongst many other bands, and to his repertoire. We'll keep going on. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But again, today the figures came out, the JNLR listenership figures, and 70,000 listeners tune in daily to Highland Radio, which is an increase of 4,000 new daily listeners on the last year on year, and 79% of the population tune in weekly within the county in the area. That doesn't include people who listen in, outside that catchment area at Strabane and Derry, Northwest, online, and I was on Monday morning. I had people who were on the highway in New York listening, and then somebody texted in from Chicago. They were on their way to work, and this was me on from 10 to 1, Michael. It's amazing.
Isn't the online thing is amazing, because you got a message there from a guy called Earl McGinty in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And he follows the Kings of Cool. I mean, in one sense, we all know there's problems with the whole online thing.
Yeah.
But in another sense, I mean, it's amazing I would get messages every day from places like Spain, Canada, USA, just saying that we like the song and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, you have to go for it. It's how you manage it is the important thing, I think, in terms of... But Michael, we've had a great repertoire of songs. We've a couple more to go before we hit you back through the gap, as you said. One question I always wanted to ask you, well, I've asked you before, I think, but when you're playing a gig, and I know you kind of start about 10 p.m, right? And the crowd is gathering, and it's a Saturday night, it's a Friday night, and you can see them coming in, and people are chatting, and, they've met friends for the first time, and you're playing some brilliant songs from Fleetwood Mac to whatever. There comes, do you ever kind of say, would they ever shut up and listen? Or how
No, you wouldn't actually think that particularly, but yeah. I remember I was at Fleetwood Mac a few years ago in the RDS, and they walk on the stage and there's a massive cheer.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, Christ, this is their gig to lose. They don't even have to try.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Whereas
right.
I come in, it's piss and rain, and you've carried in the drums, and there's water sloshing around in my shoes, and I get ready to start, and you have to win that crowd over. They haven't come to see us, Now, they do, but people do realise this is good or this is bad.
Yeah.
They do realise that still, But you have to win the crowd in a bar scenario. It's hard work.
It's hard work.
It's hard work.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've watched it, and I've said wow, and I've seen you win the crowd. I'm not saying
yeah,
but I have
you can win them over, and an awful lot depends on yourself too. There are nights, you can't be you try to be at 100% every night.
Yeah.
And then there's the magical night, the 1 in 10, where you actually it's effortless and you're at 110%.
Wow.
They're the ones you wait for. Yeah. They're the ones that make it worth doing. And then there's other ones where you're probably you would never drop below 90% because you're at it so long.
Yeah.
I would know I'm not up to it tonight.
Yeah.
But nobody out there would guess that.
And that's an important thing, because I have seen acts where you can see that the lead isn't up to it, and he or she's not putting into it, and it does reflect on stage. You can
if you've got experience, you should always be within the 90 to 110. Because you've experience, you should never drop.
And the other thing I would say as well, Michael, you don't know who's in that bar watching you.
That's the other thing,
this could be a promoter from...
Yeah. I remember with Georgia playing in a bar in Bundoran back in the early 90s. There was very few people there. And we just limped through the night and got to the end of it and insisted on playing our own songs. And the people hated it. They were waiting for do Wild Thing or do, whatever, Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
But at the end of the night, this guy came up and gave us his card, and he was from EMI Dublin.
Wow.
And we never actually did sign to EMI Dublin, but there was a contract on the table at one stage.
Yeah,
you know?
just shows you.
And that was from that one night where we thought, Jesus, we're dying of death here, you know?
Yeah.
So you're right, you never know who's going to be there.
No, it could be that one break. Come here, we move on to another song. Hello, welcome back, Jimmy, to Thursday Night Centre. It is from John Wallace, and he says, please say hello to your guest, Michael Christie.
Thank you, John. How are you?
John serves coffee. Well, he doesn't serve it. He looks after everything across the road in Centre. So if you're passing
Lovely.
hello and say hello to John. Hello, Jimmy lad. Had a visitor, but we'll be able to enjoy the last hour. What a beautiful day it was. That comes in from Eileen and Guido. And they are, and she's going to enjoy your next song as well, I'm sure, because this is a beautiful choice, this one.
Well, this one is from a guy who in later years became a bit of among musos, became a total joke, you know, because he, you know, Lady in Red.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything more.
No.
But before that, this guy, again, like Gilbert O'Sullivan, was writing amazing songs, you know. And I remember I heard this as a child, and it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
So this is Spanish Train.
From the man himself, Mr. Christie Burke, as we call him, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got a nice slow start into it.
There's a Spanish train that runs between Guadalquivir and Old Seville. And at dead of night the whistle blows and people hear she's running still. And then they hush their children back to sleep, lock the doors, upstairs they creep. For it is said that the souls of the dead fill that train 10,000 deep. Well, a railway man lay dying with his people by his side. His family were crying, knelt in prayer before he died. But above his bed, just awaiting for the dead, was the devil with a twinkle in his eye. Well, God's not around, and look what I found. This one's mine! Just then the Lord himself appeared in a blinding flash of light and shouted at the devil, "Get thee hence to endless night!" But the devil just grinned and said, "I may have sinned, but there's no need to push me around. I got him first, so you can do your worst. He's going underground. But I think I'll give you one more chance," said the devil with a smile. "So throw away that stupid lance. It's really not your style. Joker is the name, poker is the game. We'll play right here on this bed, and then we'll bet for the biggest stakes yet. The souls of the dead." And I said, "Look out, Lord, he's gonna win. The sun is down and the night's riding in. That train is dead on time. Many souls are on the line. Oh, Lord, he's gonna win." Well, the railway man, he cut the cards, and he dealt them each a hand of 5. And for the Lord he was praying hard, or that train he'd have to drive. Well, the devil, he had 3 aces and a king, and the Lord, he was running for a straight. He had the queen and the knave and 9 or 10 of spades. All he needed was the 8. And then the Lord, he called for one more card, but he drew the diamond 8. And the devil said to the Son of God, "I believe you've got it straight. So deal me one, for the time has come to see who'll be the king of this place." But as he spoke from beneath his cloak, he slipped another ace. 10,000 souls was the opening bid, soon went up to 59. But the Lord didn't see what the devil did, and he said, "That suits me fine. I'll raise you high to 105 and forever put an end to your sins." But the devil let out a mighty shout, "My hand wins!" And I said, "Lord, oh Lord, you've let him win. The sun is down and the night is riding in. That train is dead on time. Many souls are Spanish train still runs between Guadalquivir and Old Seville. And at dead of night the whistle blows, and people fear she's running still. And far away in some recess, the Lord and the devil are now playing chess. The devil still cheats and wins more souls. And as for the Lord, well, he's just doing his best. And I said, Lord, oh Lord, you've got to win. The sun is down and the night's riding in. That train is still on time. Oh, my soul is on the line. Oh Lord, you've got to win.
Valentine's Day is almost here. Still looking for the perfect treat for your special someone? Make this day unforgettable with a gift from Pandora. Don't wait until the last minute. Visit us now in store and online at pandora.net to find the perfect symbol of love.
We move Ireland's energy through one of Europe's most modern gas networks, delivering the energy you need today throughout the country. And now we're moving Ireland's energy in a new way, bringing more sustainable sources into the pipeline. Gas Networks Ireland, moving Ireland's energy.
Storm Éowyn has caused severe damage to Ireland's electricity infrastructure, impacting homes, farms and businesses. ESB Networks and contracted partners are working to restore electricity to all customers. In areas where the network damage is significant, inaccessible or remote, restoring electricity will be slower, so please bear with us. For estimated restoration times, visit powercheck.ie. We thank all our customers for your patience and understanding. Your safety and the safety of all teams working to restore electricity is our #1 priority. Remember, fallen wires are live. Always. Stay safe, stay clear. In emergencies, call 1-800-372-999.
Change is the only constant in business. So whether you're starting or growing your business, our dedicated business teams will always be here to support you every step of the way. Because the best businesses never stop beginning. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Discover the new Nissan range at iMotors. If it's design you're after, stand out from the crowd with the next generation Nissan Juke. Available in both petrol and hybrid. The Nissan Qashqai is available as a petrol or e-power hybrid, giving you that electric feel without plugging in. Need more space? The Nissan X-Trail offers 7 seats and comes as an e-power hybrid. And for those ready to go green, the Nissan Ariya and Leaf are fully electric. Available now for a test drive. Just call into our showroom in Letterkenny or Malin today.
iMotors, fearless generation.
You're listening to Jimmy Stafford.
And you're also listening to Mr. Michael Christie of the Kings of Cool and the band True Tones. If you see them on a poster, what I would recommend is you go into that place they're playing and have a listen, because you'll have a great night with the lads. I'm telling you now, when you talk about getting a crowd growing, no better man on drums and with lead vocals as well, Michael. Christopher, what a song, but...
yeah, as I say, I remember hearing that as a child, and it nearly could make you go hiding under the bed.
What was that line you said about the soul? You said to me.
Well, basically, as you heard there, the devil and God have to play cards for the souls and the dead, and of course the devil will cheat and God won't cheat, so he continues to lose.
Wow.
Yeah, which is actually quite a good metaphor for the way the world is.
Yeah. Look at it today. Oh my God. Yeah, but that's another show.
That's another show. Yeah.
That's 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with Greg Hughes.
Yes.
And around the northwest,
And around the
086 60
northwest,
25,000.
And I was listening to what you were saying about the listenership for Highland, and it's very well deserved.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what a service you give the whole county. You know,
and it's right from 6:30 in the morning right to midnight or 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then the replay. And
even during, you know, I mean, forget about music for a moment. I remember during the local elections.
That's right.
You know, I was glued to
yeah.
the radio,
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
right.
so many people that are bloody experts on the whole count.
know,
Oh, well,
yeah.
I can see now by count 7 he's going to be gone.
That's right,
I'm thinking,
yeah.
how can he see that? He's up on top
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah,
But
that's
they're
right.
deadly, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, yeah, Highland would be there right in the middle of the whole lot. And of course, sport. You know,
yeah.
all the
sport as well.
GEA, everything, you know.
I know it's
So
fair.
well done, you guys.
Well, thanks, Michael, and we'll take that quote and maybe they'll use that in the ads. I'd say somebody, but no, brilliant stuff, Michael. What I suppose we've 2 more songs.
Two more
and
songs.
What's the plans with Kings of Cool? And I know
Kings
you're
of
playing this
Cool,
weekend with Johnny Gallagher.
I'm
in
playing with Johnny
Bundoran.
Gallagher this weekend, and I have a gig with Jason. I sometimes play some gigs. Well, Johnny's on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I
In
sometimes
Bundoran, isn't it?
in the Phoenix in
The Phoenix,
Bundoran.
you're
And the
passing
next
Bundoran.
night, I'm playing with Jason in the same venue in the Phoenix in Bundoran. We're taking a few gigs, myself and Jason. The bass player Stephen in the Kings of Cool is difficult to get because he's with Derek Ryan.
Oh yeah.
So you can imagine how busy he is, you know. Recording wise, we have lots of songs still to come. We're working on about 5 at the moment.
Right.
And I'm going to involve Terry McGinty in doing some mixing on them.
Brilliant.
I record them, but I hate mixing them.
Right.
I don't think I'm very good at that.
What do you mean by mixing?
Mixing would be, you know, you would have everything recorded.
Right.
Well, then you
So
have
you
to...
the vocals over here.
Yeah, well, you'd have everything literally recorded. Well, then you have to decide, will I put some treble on the bass drum or bass or, you know, or will I put some reverb on the vocal or or will I put that cymbal over in the right-hand speaker? And there's 101 choices, you know. And then there's compression. You would know about compression from the radio here.
Yes, yeah.
And all of these choices, and I can do it, but I don't like it. I like recording and I like arranging, you know. So yeah, I have had another guy doing it, but I've heard great things about Terry, and I know Terry for years back, and he records a lot for you know, Tommy Bonner.
That's right,
Strawman.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and he's doing great stuff.
Yeah.
And there's another guy in Ballybuffet as
Mickey
well.
Duffy.
Mickey Duffy, yes.
that's right.
Which
Well,
is
Duffy and Mogul.
Yeah.
Mogie and Duffy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's 2 guys, you know, writing great songs.
That's right. Mickey's unbelievable.
And what I like about Mickey and I like about Tommy, they're the same as myself. We write songs, we put them out. I don't really care what happens then.
I know.
If people say to me, and people have said to me, didn't like this one now as much as the last one, well, I don't care because I'll have another one for you in 6 weeks. Do you know? And it's a great way. In the old days, Jimmy, back in the 80s and 90s, you recorded albums. And, you know, your whole shot was hanging on this album coming out. And if it didn't make the big splash, you were gone. Nowadays, you just fire out single after single after single, and you could get 12 shots during the year. Maybe one of them will kick, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, to get back to the songs,
Salah's
I want to talk...
Salah's after firing a penalty in 2-1 to Liverpool against Tottenham. There you are.
You're a happy man.
There we are.
You're a happy
just
man.
Breaking news here on the McFadden's jumping off the couch. I'd say at
McFadden
this
will be
stage.
jumping off the couch, all right, yeah.
You know what we'll do? We'll take these 2 together
Well-
because I'm conscious of your time in 22 minutes past 9.
Yes, okay. Well, the
But
first...
you know, we won't. We'll take this and then we'll come back and say goodbye.
Okay. So what are we doing?
We're doing your second last song.
My second last song. Well, I have to say a few words about this
Yeah.
one. The most important band in the history of Irish music was Horselips.
Brilliant.
I don't care who argues with me, there were Horselips were the most important band. Tin Lizzy, U2, all these bands, if you were living out in the sticks like I was in North Sligo and your nearest ballroom was Bundoran 8 miles away, Tin Lizzy were on top of the pops. There was no hope I was ever going to get to see those.
Yeah.
Horselips came round the ballrooms. They brought rock music to the ballrooms. We had never seen anything like it. They brought a PA in that went from the floor to the ceiling. They wore fur coats and cowboy boots. And they'd arrive into Bundoran, and these people looked like aliens. Yeah. It was unbelievable, the excitement, you know. And they were our Rolling Stones. And they would have encouraged and facilitated so many young musicians to feel, that's what I want to do, you know. And while I'm talking about Horselips, I have to mention there's actually a tribute band in Donegal here. Probably the only one in the world for Horselips. And in a show called Swords of Light.
Yes.
Marion Ashcroft plays bass. And they have a gig in the Ballor in Ballybuffet on the 15th of February. I think that's Saturday week.
Yeah, the day after
Next
Valentine's
week.
Day, yeah.
And they're in the Green On in Letterkenny on the 26th of April.
Wow.
Swords of Light, get along to them. they're the nearest thing you're ever going to hear to getting to see
And
horses.
they've been up here Monday night sessions as well.
Yeah, wonderful band.
Yeah.
So Horselips, as I say, would have been the biggest formative thing in my young life. And we'll play a Horselips tune. And then we're going to finish up with a song.
We'll leave that till you come back.
Oh,
We're gonna play
sorry, I
Horselips
thought you were
in a
going to
minute.
go for the
No,
tune.
I don't want to kick you out.
Okay, well, I'm not even going to say what this one is. Everyone will know it.
See him driving those golden nails that hold together the silver bars that one day gonna take us to the stars. 'Cause he's the man who built America. See him walking that golden wire 1,000,000 miles from his starting place. See the world reflected in his face. 'Cause he's the man who built America. You colored kids on the borderland and all you golden children of the sun. He's falling to you, each and every one. 'Cause he's the man who built America. Tell me who's gonna knock them down when he builds them up. Tell me who's gonna knock them down. Not him, not the man who built America. In every precinct of Golden Mile, in every doorway stands heart's desire. But see him crouching, running through the fire. 'Cause he's the man who built America. You kill the rich and you calm the poor. You stalk the streets with your 45s. But no one's gonna take the man alive. 'Cause he's the man who built America. Building them up. Tell me who's gonna knock them down when he builds them up. Tell me who's gonna knock them down. Not him, not the man who built America. See him driving those golden nails that hold together the silver bars. And when they're gonna take us to the stars. 'Cause he's the man who built America. Building them up. Tell me who's gonna knock them down when he builds them up. Tell me who's gonna knock them down. Never him, not the man who built America. Not the man who built America.
Yeah, Michael Christie, that's the man who built America, aka Trump, I'd say. They're referring to
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
or who they refer. But what a break!
We'll not go down that rabbit hole.
No, that's for tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
I was
as well.
just saying to Jimmy there that years later, one of my very first gigs was playing support to Horselips
Yeah.
at the Astoria Ballroom in Bundoran.
14.
I was 14 and it was a school band. We were dreadful, but it didn't matter. I was on Eamon Carr's drums.
Wow.
And years later, Eamon Carr was the music correspondent for the Evening Herald, and he interviewed me for Georgia. And I was just thinking, wow, this is a complete circle moment, you know.
I did great memories to have.
Great
Michael,
memories,
as well.
yeah,
That,
yeah.
You know, you talked about in those gigs and the floors were hopping and the farmers coming in from
Yeah,
the fields.
yeah,
and
it was-
they were baling the hay and they came in and they
Literally,
had to back out because they were
yeah,
working all night.
Yeah, they literally would leave the fields, come into Horselips, jump around the place, get a chicken curry, back to the fields and start baling again. Wow. Yeah, amazing times, you know.
And the beautiful sun, those evenings.
Well, you see, I don't know where My memories of the summer holidays as a kid was they were always sunny.
Yeah.
Are you the
Same with
same?
me.
Yeah. But they couldn't have been.
No. My memories are at Curracloe Beach and Carn Beach in Wexford.
Yeah.
But then my mum and dad, God rest them, would talk about the times when we were flooded out in Carn
Yeah,
and Curracloe,
yeah,
and my
yeah.
uncle had to come and rescue us because we were in this tent and take us back. So
You don't remember any
I
of
don't
that?
remember
No,
that.
you remember sunshine, yeah.
I remember, so yeah, maybe it was, but Paul
Just
says,
before we move on, I want to say a big hello to Barry Kirk. Barry Kirk is a great friend of the Kings of Cool. He's in Dumfries in Scotland.
Brilliant.
And he's bound to be listening. And a big hello to Leslie, who's in Tarradi, Ramelton. And yeah.
in Ramelton.
In Ramelton, same as Tarradi.
What's Troddy?
Tarradi's the townland, just outside
right,
Ramelton.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hello
So hello to
everyone.
Leslie.
And the Swords of Light are playing the Ballor on the 15th
And the
of
Swords of
February,
Light,
and then
the
they're playing the Greenon on the
26th of April.
April.
Yeah, and in fairness, you know, if you want to hear live versions of Horslips music, you can't get that anywhere, so you'll have to go along.
Great choice of Mukins and Michael. Really enjoyed your selection and chats as a listener as well, and brilliant stuff. Michael, it's well over. You know, we talk about an hour, but it rolls on into something longer because.
But it's been lovely, Jimmy. And in fairness, I was saying it to you earlier on. You make it so bloody easy. You know, you make it very easy.
Yeah, well, I just asked a question. You kind of off you go. But listen, if you, as I said, if you are see the word True Tones on a that's your cover band, I know. But if you do see them on the front of a pub somewhere, and go in and see them, and equally well follow the Kings of Cool. You have a great social media following as well.
We're big on Facebook. They're on Instagram on www.kingsofcool.net.
And you do your little videos. You say, I'm down in Bundoran here. I'm waiting for a friend, Mickey so, and we're going for a walk, and we're going to go walk over there to that hill, and we'll see you. And then it's kind of like so you're giving people an insight. Michael, it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to just again that night I was out, just happened to walk in and you were playing. It was like, oh, wow, this is brilliant.
Good man,
a few
Jimmy.
people with me, and
Good man.
we'll have to sit down there. And it was actually my nephews from Cork, the three of them, and they just really enjoyed it.
They were saying they enjoyed it.
Oh, they loved it so, and they were just. They couldn't believe live music in Letterkenny. They were blown away.
Yeah.
And these guys are living in Cork City, and they said, wow, everywhere they went, there was. So, Donegal, as you said, is a lot.
Letterkenny is a great town for music, and there's a lot of great
but the whole
musicians
county,
here, you know.
and that's the point I would make. The whole county is really good. So keep supporting those local venues, those local
very
gigs,
important,
if
you
you're
know,
out and
and
about.
very important to, people are willing at this stage. Loads of people are willing to go and spend €250 on the Eagles and another €500 on a hotel.
Yeah.
And they really think twice about paying €20 to get to watch a local act in a theatre around here, you know. So I would encourage everybody, support your local artists, because it's not getting any easier out there.
No.
Now, no game is.
Yeah.
I'm very conscious everybody's struggling, you know.
Yeah, it is. But
You know,
great.
but yeah.
Michael, it's been brilliant. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you, Jimmy.
we'll keep in touch, and you keep the music coming to us.
Yeah.
And we'll get you up during the year again. The Kings are Cool, and maybe
sure, why not?
we might do a Ballyshannon Bundoran night. We
Wouldn't
get
it be
Johnny
lovely?
up as well
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Johnny, and he's been up with us again, and I must get Johnny to do a co-presenting job as well with me some night. That'd be great.
Well, the one we're going to finish up with, there's other versions of this. Honor do a great version of this. The High Kings do a great version of this. But the first time I heard this song was just a man standing on his own, and you were saying the same happened for you at a graveside.
It was in Ledbury.
And
Hereford,
literally, I was the same. The first time I heard it, and again, it was just the hair standing on the back of the neck moment. So this is Hosier doing his version, and I wanted a version with just one voice. I know Honor and everybody else does great versions, but it's a huge, big production. This is Hosier, The Parting Glass.
Michael Christie, this is your life.
Thank you
very much.
God bless.
Have all the money